First thing we do is we kill all attorneys.
Wow, this is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC. I'm Karl Gerber. I'm a real workplace lawyer. Last week, we started with an old client, Lucia, who I represented on a pregnancy discrimination case some years ago. Last week, she identified her current employment problem as having a problem getting to work on time because one of her roommates was keeping her up with what we discovered were Fling updates. It was then determined that their roommate was Sweet Susie, who was on episode 120 of this show, to be found on the Karl Gerber with a K channel on YouTube. Sweet Susie is the conjoined twin of Brooklyn, two sisters raised differently, and they're all in my office tonight again.
Yeah. We probably had different parents, too.
Well, thank you, Brooklyn. We left off when we were examining the lease between the tenant and the landlord, the tenant being Lucia, and the tenant's quiet enjoyment.
I feel there are quite a few questions that went unanswered.
I must agree, Susie.
For instance, how did you represent Lucia in a pregnancy discrimination lawsuit if she can't get pregnant?
Well, this is a very personal issue for Lucia. Maybe things have changed since that representation.
Okay. The doctor screwed up. I wasn't really pregnant.
What? We sell that case for $125,000 like pronto.
Yeah, just like you got Remus Helms $114 million when they made that not so great copy of his genital. Like that ever happened.
I have never represented Remus Helms in any lawsuits.
I was wondering if there was a concession we could give Lucia, like a rent concession. If there's like some night where she can't sleep because I have a guy over.
In other words, like a liquidated damage, a predetermined penalty against the landlord who is you, Sweet Susie.
Hey, that ain't no fair. I don't want to pay them penalties. We're doing this room renting thing in my auntie's old row house, because if I get into USC for my masters, we gonna need that extra money.
Well, perhaps Brooklyn could also get paid a penalty if the guy comes over.
Yeah, Susie, I ain't got no choice. I gotta be there.
Well, seems fair.
But what about them penalties if they're multiple?
Multiple guys?
At once? I am gonna have a private conversation with Lucia here.
Okay, Sweet Susie, is there any way that you cannot listen?
Oh, hold up. Hand her them earplugs in my purse, Lucia.
你知道今天是什么日子吗？今天是星期三啊，今天是七夕。
七夕节？
今天七夕节啊。
The two of you speak Chinese?
I did not get much out of that. You didn't get none of that? Me neither. Let me see if I got it right. If Susie has multiples, she pays each of us $100 for each multiple.
Multiple guys?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, let's start on the predetermined penalty if Sweet Susie has one guy over from a Fling app. What's the penalty for that gonna be?
Cool your heels, Mr. Gerber. Not all of my flings are loud. Some of them aren't that good. Before I go off agreeing to this, I gotta know what them penalties are for them multiples.
Why are we starting with multiples?
I am willing to agree on how much penalties I get if she's got one guy over, and then we get to her multiples.
Oh.
That's what she be saying.
Well, shouldn't she be involved in these negotiations? I feel like we're ganging up on Sweet Susie.
Yes, that's another thing. If she's going to do that, she should pay us $500 each and sanitize the toilet afterward.
Okay, this is ridiculous. Where is Sweet Susie's mother? Can her mother help?
I heard that.
Susie, is there somebody you could perhaps get some guidance from?
She needs somebody strict.
Mistress Luboff?
Oh, she needs more of a mother figure. Overprotective type.
Oh, there is this one woman I know. She's so overprotective, she hid underneath her eldest son's bed during his first time just to make sure he did it safely.
Oh, snap, that woman from episode 66. She's a trip. Oh, no. Not her.
Well, I mean, somebody like that could maybe set your twin straight.
All of the flings are with guys. Come on.
An employment lawyer can't solve every problem.
Oh, she ain't got no problem going off on multiples. I am just sitting here next to Brooklyn, minding my own business, when I think the time has come to talk about Lucia.
What about her?
Her job.
Okay, she works at a fertility clinic.
Oh, ask her what kind of work she does there.
Okay, Lucia, we sort of started on the last show, which can be found in the Karl Gerber with the K channel on YouTube. Did you get your bachelor's in nursing? Do you hold the RN license now?
I've sort of changed my profession.
Oh, are you doing front office work in the medical field?
Oh, I call it back office work. I call it rear office work. That is not what they use. It's a fertility clinic.
Who uses what?
Oh, she's one of them stand-ins.
Like a double for an actor?
Mr. Gerber, have you heard of a sex surrogate?
Yes, I had a bright young sexual harassment client studying to be a sex surrogate, and all the guys came on to her thinking she was preconditioned for sex.
Is that right, Lucia? You all preconditioned for sex?
Well, you know, sex surrogates often have PhDs. It isn't like that, Brooklyn.
Oh, Lucia ain't got no PhD, do you, Lucia? I've helped a lot of men.
Well, I'm sure women also. A lot of women are happy to finally get pregnant.
Oh, no, I don't do that.
Lucia, what exactly do you do?
Oh, she does everything.
As I understand things, fertility clinics provide a number of services these days.
Oh, that's what they call them, services.
Well, you know, it's not just about donors. They assist women and...
Oh, men too.
Well, thanks for speaking up, Lucy. I'm pretty sure you're the most knowledgeable amongst the four of us about the going-ons at a fertility clinic these days.
That's right, Mr. Gerber. Me and Susie is separate peoples. I beg to differ. There's only two of us in this room.
Seriously, Lucia, this is the way it is at a station that's not popping for the talent.
That's what that Lucia girl do. She keeps on popping, popping.
Who?
Them male customers.
No, that isn't a legitimate function of the sex surrogate. Is it?
There are situations in which I have to, lend our assistance.
What kind of assistance?
Go ahead, tell him, Lucia. Tell him like it is.
Oh, wait, perhaps this is getting too graphic.
Nah, that's why she should pay them penalties too.
Lucia, is all your work done inside the fertility clinic?
It isn't a job I can do on Zoom.
Why not?
It's more of it's a hands-on job.
Hands-on?
Them samples gotta get in them drawers somehow.
Oh, right. She picks up the samples.
We call them specimens.
So you are a medical assistant.
Oh, I have a higher position.
You're an actual nurse, right?
My work takes place under the supervision of a licensed therapist.
How does the licensed therapist supervise what you're doing?
Oh, yeah, girl. Don't that ruin the mood? Pfft, having some old white dude in their room watching. Probably directing, too. As a member of IPSA, I am qualified to make judgment calls.
What kind of judgment calls?
Oh, like where the guy gonna go finish his business?
Oh, what does ISPA stand for?
International Professional Surrogates Association.
Oh, you're a surrogate mother? I mean, didn't one of the conjoined twins claim you can't get pregnant?
Well, that's one of the reasons I got into personal intimacy therapy.
I see. Due to your infertility issues, you've been more empowered to help others with fertility issues.
No, I just figured it would be less risky for me.
We're taking a break from the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Double dating, double jumping, double creature in a double feature. The Employment Lawyers Group has successfully represented employees in wrongful termination, sexual harassment, employment discrimination, and unpaid wage lawsuits, including class actions. They are only paid when and if money is collected from the employer. Call 877-525-0700 during the week for an experienced job lawyer. 877-525-0700.
First thing we do is we kill all attorneys.
Talk Radio 790 KBC. Listen to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber. I'm a workplace lawyer. I've got 3 roommates in here. 2 of them are conjoined twins. I think Brooklyn here raised a legitimate question. How do your clients, Lucia, respond to you as a sex surrogate if there's an old white guy in the room directing things?
Yeah, like that Remus Helms dude used to do when he was directing them porno movies. The licensed therapist isn't necessarily in the room.
But he or she maybe?
He or she may be.
Wouldn't that be, how do they say, a buzzkill?
Therapy is interwoven with the surrogate partner sessions in order to facilitate understanding and change.
How are the 2 interwoven?
Oh, it's very complicated.
Technical, too, like in the case of being interwoven.
Right, but the licensed therapist is not actually interwoven during the clinical session. I am the only one interwoven.
Lucia, can you be more specific? I feel there's a lot of innuendo here.
Oh, is there ever?
Hey, maybe we could just start on the legal relationship between the sex surrogate and the licensed therapist, since this is a legal show and we explore legal and licensing issues.
So, okay, I am a member of the sex therapy team.
Team?
It ain't no tag team if that's what you're thinking, Mr. Gerber. Ooh. Hey, that's a good point. If Susie's doing one of them tag team things, the penalty's gotta be, it's gotta be real big. I mean, at least like 1,000 or something.
I mean, these penalties are gonna make Sweet Susie give up the whole Fling app.
Isn't that the point?
I feel we've drifted away from how you, Lucia, are on a team with the licensed therapist.
Studies have shown that only about 13% of the patient's time involves actual physical interaction.
I see. As a team member, you sort of come in like a pinch hitter in baseball, and how do they say it? You seal the deal?
Is that a good analogy? Not really. I get involved in a lot of talk therapy.
What do you talk about?
Oh, look, I am not as talented as Cindy D, the most famous English-speaking landline phone sex operator in the world, but I do talk dirty.
Seriously, don't you provide other encouragement?
Well, that's true. There is a considerable amount of encouragement I provide. Is this like one of those countdown videos? You know, like the guy in the apartment building in back of Mr. Gerber's office likes to watch those, like when we do the fling thing.
New Year's Eve countdowns?
Oh, where you been, Mr. Gerber? Oh, you watching too many Disney movies with them kids, huh?
I feel this program covers a lot of things some of our older listeners can be stimulated into going and doing, some on their own, personal research after the show is done.
Is that why there are comments on the YouTube videos on the Karl Gerber with the K channel, like from girls who do like webcams?
Well, apparently some people get rather stimulated during these shows.
They aren't even funny. What are you talking about?
Well, there's something important I'd like to cover. Are your services covered by insurance, Lucia?
When I am working on the right team, probably. If I am just helping out during the specimen time, probably not.
I think the listeners would like more details about how you help out during specimen time.
Well, I lend a helping hand.
What?
You don't get it?
I don't know. You show the man where the visual assistance devices are?
Well, that's what the medical assistant does.
What do you do, Lucia?
I lend a helping hand.
Is that sanitary?
Well, I wear the same type of gloves nurses wear in the COVID unit.
How is that helpful?
It's still a human touch.
Touch?
Not all them guys are into that medical stuff, but I know, not from personal experience, you know. Jimbo don't like that stuff. If I was there, that ain't no hearsay, is it?
Well, Brooklyn, you have personal knowledge because you're on the Fling apps. You have to be there. I know you're not participating, but it could still be hearsay if the declarant were not in court.
With what those guys are declaring from Susie's apps, I'm pretty sure some of them get off.
Okay!
Why you letting Lucia talk about them techniques at her clinic? But I can't be saying what I observed on them Fling apps of my sis, because I can't get away from her, huh?
Yeah, bringing this back to legal issues. Lucia, do you carry your own malpractice insurance, or did the clinic cover that for you?
Oh, yes, of course I carry malpractice insurance. A lot of things could go wrong. Like what? Oh, snap. Oh, them diseases. Yeah.
I was thinking of hurt feelings.
There was one case where the referring therapist got sued because the woman didn't think the licensed therapist should have recommended that her partner ever become a father.
That sounds like a very novel case.
Right. That was one of the novels I wanted to cover in AP English. But on account of my school being a Catholic high school, they vetoed it. Bah.
I now the sisters are changing voices. You know what? I'm not familiar with this work of fiction.
It was a riveting breakout novel, okay? About a woman who is mathematics professor. No, a geneticist who is artificially inseminated because her husband always wanted to be a woman, but a sex surrogate helped to get the specimen. That's the word, right, Lucia?
What was wrong with this child?
Oh, I noticed. She didn't go talking right. Just a bunch of noises, and them sounds made things happen just by hearing them.
What kind of things did the noises make happen?
Oh, the same kind of thing Lucia make happen in those 13% of times. You know what I'm saying?
Just out of interest, not anything that would offend prurient interest. But did this child in the fictional work that Brooklyn knows about because she has to be there at the AP class of Sweet Susie, did this child become an ASMR whisper porn legend?
Look, see, Mr. Gerber, ain't a stupid old white man after all. You see, I've been telling y'all that. You see?
Does this portrayal happen to cover the fact that the ASMR whisper porn legend was part of an immaculate conception?
No, that's just an urban myth Remus Helms started.
Well, I guess once there's a celebrity of Reverb's fame, they're bound to be fictional accounts loosely based on her life.
It's just a work of fiction. Everybody knows Dr. D wasn't artificially inseminated.
But at least Cindy D's father may have become a woman.
Oh, that got nothing to do with Reverb's pops or moms. She appeared crawling around on Dr. D's bedroom floor one day.
Oh, right. This has been rather extensively covered on past episodes of the Karl Gerber with the K channel on YouTube, including Dr. D's first appearance on episode 80.
Can we get back to the matter at hand?
I don't want to talk about your glove surrogate services anymore.
Wouldn't I be exempt from those fines if you talked about Mr. Gerber on account of Lucia doing the stuff I do in my spare time, but she does it for a living? Sex surrogacy is a one-on-one service.
I do see a difference, especially if Lucia is working on a qualified team.
I don't see how the football team is different from Lucia's team.
Right. We're all playing on the same team. There's no such thing as a Democrat city or Republican state. All of our cities are American cities.
That's not a good analogy. I am a professional. You call that professional? It's a professional service. It isn't the same as going and getting your oil changed.
Oh, mechanics these days call themselves service professionals.
Okay, oil was not a good analogy. Oh, snap. Now she in big trouble.
We can't just go knocking unusual professionals who are trying to help.
Yes, it's like Sweet Susie thinks I am a streetwalker.
We sort of glossed over this earlier, but you said you didn't have a job you could do on Zoom. How are you protecting yourself as a sex surrogate during COVID, Lucia?
Just because I can't get pregnant doesn't mean I don't protect myself.
Right, but the close contact?
If a man is properly referred to me, and after we've chatted and I don't intimidate him, he gets an immediate COVID test.
So you get down the business right away.
Oh, we don't have a choice.
What?
I can't run the risk of him leaving the facility and getting COVID.
But he could be festering COVID and hasn't shown up yet.
The fertility clinic is a medical facility. His temperature is taken in one of his orifices, depending on personal preference.
No! A legitimate medical facility doesn't take the temperature of adults in one of those orifices.
If the man has not had a heterosexual experience in a long time, that might sort of, warm him up.
This clinic of yours is starting to sound like the Lucky 7 Tarzana Nuru Massage Clinic actually in Reseda.
Oh, it's a subsidiary.
That was the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Call 877-525-0700 during the week for an experienced job lawyer. 877-525-0700.